Hi everyone, and thanks for being with me. Today, an issue has arisen on Sky News again. Look, Sky News are back, and it's an exciting time when we have outsiders doing their thing, and we can offer critique of them, not criticism, or maybe it's criticism, but we can certainly offer some reasonable critique of what they say on Sky News. And on this particular occasion, they're getting excited about a tweet or a truth or a lie, whichever you care to call it, from Trump. And as a result of that, they've gone into this long explanation of climate change and how we should start making sure that in Australia we do what he's going to do in the United States, which is to get rid of all wind, all battery, anything to do that would assist the climate. And because we're a small country and insignificant according to these guys, then it is imperative that we do the same as they do in the United States. So I'm going to play you a bit of a clip in relation to all of this, and let me know what you think of this particular clip. So I'll just bring that up for you about now, I reckon. So this is the three clowns on Outsiders having a discussion around climate change based on the most wise individual that we know, the person who knows everything about everything and at the same time knows nothing also about everything, namely Donald Trump. And this is what they had to say in relation to his post.
Donald Trump has tweeted that windmills should be torn down. Here's a tweet from Donald Trump the other day. Windmills are an economic and environmental disaster. I don't want even one built during my administration. The thousands of dead and broken ones should be ripped down ASP. Most expensive energy only work with massive government subsidies, which we will no longer pay. Now, you can't get any clearer than that. All of those windmills out off the beautiful, pristine Australian coastlines, places like Port Stephens, elsewhere, Donald Trump would be having...
I just need to make a note here that I have put in a backdrop, which is of the fires, mainly in Australia. There's one shot there, I think, of the fires in California. Just as a reminder that what these guys are talking about is the largest amount of human excrement that one could ever imagine. And I don't know what investment they necessarily have in gas and coal, but one would suspect that they must have something happening there, or otherwise they wouldn't be so anti-climate change, anti-windmills, anti-batteries, anti-solar, anti-everything that has got to do with climate change.
Those things not happening in the first place or tearing them down if they were already there. That's the sort of leadership we need here. Net zero is a con, James.
Well, yeah,
No, I think that there's a bit of projection happening here when we start to refer to net zero as a con. We know the Earth is warming. That is not a controversial issue, or should not be a controversial issue, and that we need to do something about it. And these guys are selling this crap to millions of people around Australia about how we should be viewing climate change. And this coming election is going to be important in defining where we sit as a country in relation to this.
And these windmills,
issue.
I just looked at the national energy market just now. Right now, wind is providing a total of 14% of the national energy market's electricity. Coal is still providing around 60, especially when you add in the gas to that as well. So good old fossil fuels are getting it done, keeping your TV on this morning here, watching this here, while these windmills, the only reason that they survive or that they can be built at all is because, number one, massive subsidies, and It's not just subsidies, but the market.
Also, we need to acknowledge that there are a lot of corporations, a lot of investment into solar and renewables, because that is where we're heading, and people are prepared to invest in it because there are lots of people who are not stupid like these morons who clearly want to deny anything around climate, or at least want to do anything about it. And the disappointing thing is that they seem to think that we as Australians, because we're a small country in terms of population, but big in terms of resources, in terms of lots of sunshine and also a lot of wind, that and a lot of space in which to store solar panels, that for whatever reason we should just turn a blind eye to it. We should just ignore it. We should see it, in fact, as a con. I think these guys are trying to con us.
Rigged so that people who operate these wind farms can never lose money. Also, beyond that, there are environmental disasters. We've seen the environmental impact statements for the wind farms in places like Queensland. Tear down the rainforest, kill the koalas with hammers.
Exactly.
I think it would have been helpful at this particular point if this idiot had brought up and explained to us where he got this information from. And it might have been in relation to a particular area in Queensland, but certainly doesn't apply to Australia-wide either way, whichever way you care to cut it.
That's what they say, so that we can get our clean energy. Each one of these things takes up a huge amount of concrete and everything else. You see these abominations everywhere you drive in Australia. You see them when you drive down towards Canberra, these huge, disgusting wind.
I think we watch some abominations when you turn on Sky News or look at YouTube Sky News channel and you see people like this.
Turbines, they just spoil
Lake
the view.
George.
They're
There you go.
horrendous around Lake George, up towards Crookwell, everywhere across this country. They're just an entire fad, and they're visual pollution.
They're a fad. Where in the hell did a guy get... It is not a fad where you're spending billions of dollars on something which is going to at least make some contribution to ensuring that your children, you clown, your grandchildren, have an earth on which they can actually survive.
They don't actually do anything to save the environment. In many cases, they hurt the environment.
Caroline, I want to move on from that to another point, which is that Donald Trump is now in the White House, the leader of the free world. He's going against net zero. He's going pull out of Paris. The whole agenda is going to change. The American economy, the most powerful economy in the world, this time round, Trump ain't messing around. He's going to put an end to the climate hysteria and the climate con.
Well, that's crazy. He's not going to put an end to the climate hysteria at all. Primarily because there's so many other countries. Primarily because there's so many other countries who would suggest that they're working hard in order to effectively make a difference on this planet. And, if you're going to, I don't understand why relatively intelligent people would believe for a moment that the liar-in-chief, the misogynistic clown, would necessarily, and, he's a felon as well, come to think of it, but why people would seem to think that this man, this type of character, this man who reads nothing, who listens to the last person in the room and makes a decision based on whatever is said, that person is the one that we should be listening to around something as important as saving the planet. And I'll just bring out a couple of stats here that I thought were interesting. Wind power is one of the most efficient renewable energy sources, it says. It's more efficient than coal and gas power plants, and it can produce energy at any time of day. Efficiency, wind turbines. Wind turbines can convert up to 60% of the wind's energy into electricity. The theoretical maximum efficiency is 59%, known as the Betts limit. Solar panels, the most efficient solar panels convert around 22% of sunlight into electricity. Coal power plant stations convert 29 to 37% of coal into electricity. And gas plants convert 32 to 50% of gas into electricity. And the important thing I think to note about that is that wind turbines convert up to 60% of the wind. Now, the wind, as opposed to coal, doesn't cost us anything. It's not like we're digging wind out of the ground, is it? So clearly, it's far more efficient to use the natural resources. Sun, we don't have to dig that out of the ground either. It just happens to be there. And yet that's 29 to 30%. So what was that? It was 22% of sunlight into electricity. So this argument, this conversation that these idiots are having about solar and climate change in particular, is going to be something that's going to permeate for some time to come. And we must remember that even their friends, the Liberal and National Party, are suggesting that they're still going to continue with renewables, but they want to put more gas and eventually, 10, 15 years down the track, nuclear into the mix. They're not dispensing with renewables. And these people need to get on the same plan and start talking about the same ideas as they're talking about in the Liberal and National Party, not listening to an idiot such as Donald Trump, who knows nothing about any of this. So let me know what you think in the comment sections below. Are you a climate denier? Well, if you are, too bad. If you are a climate denier, please let me know why you are. I don't understand that. What information or knowledge do you have that the rest of us don't have that clearly must be important in order for you to make that sort of decision? Subscribe to my channel, ring the bell for further notifications. In the meantime, take care, look after yourselves, and more importantly, be safe.